Alright, Oval fans, here's my review from last night's episode. We're talking Season 2, Episode 3, entitled Wicked Things. Now, I didn't watch it live. I was passed out, just sleep. Next time I do a live stream, you will see that my room is just like I said it would be. Next time I do a live stream, you'll probably notice a lot of moving boxes. Yeah, you're going to notice. I did a lot of not rearranging, but changing things. The shelf that was in the back, gone. Tossed that because it was like overweighted with DVDs and books for, excuse me, the past year or so. So it was really crooked and run down. A little more stuff in the room to get done. And then the bedroom is done. The closet is the last thing. But again, there's no big rush to do it, but it will get done soon enough. So I passed out from like 4 o'clock to midnight. And I watched the episode online at like 1 o'clock. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I will say that I do feel like this was and take this word loosely, this was the weakest of the 3 episodes that we've gotten so far for Season 2. It was not bad per se, but I do feel like there were some elements of the episode which could have been executed just a little bit better, because this episode could have gotten like an 8 or an 8.5. But there were just a few things that had me going, yeah, I wish Tyler would have went this direction instead of, that direction. But, as always, I will get into it thoroughly as we get into the review. So let's go ahead and get this video some, good feedback. So hit the thumbs up button. Let's try to get to 150 likes. Also, hit subscribe. Trying to hit 200,000 subscribers soon, so please hit subscribe if you are a frequent viewer of my channel but haven't subscribed, or if this is your first time here, maybe this is your first video. Also, hit the bell notification icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post new content to the channel. And follow me on social media, guys. Links are in that description below. Alright, so we pretty much pick up where we left off. My first instinct was, oh yeah, we're going to pick up on the plane, but I honestly forgot that the very last scene of last week's episode was when Victoria found Jean's body underneath the bed. Because I remember talking last week about how, well, damn, are they going to find Jean's body? Oh, when are they going to get to the part where Jason opens the emergency hatch? Those two big events, I mean, they felt really shoehorned into like the last 30 to 45 seconds. So it was really, confusing as to where exactly they'd pick up. But once again, they decided to go the route of Victoria. And she's obviously freaking out. And she manages to pick herself up just barely and get out of the bedroom and close the door moments before housekeeping comes up, because based on what she just saw, she had forgotten that, oh, wow, yeah, that's right, I did call housekeeping before I looked underneath the bed to find the source of the smell. But Victoria pretty much tells the person, oh, yeah, so basically my son just left a bad odor in there, probably like dirty clothes and whatnot. Instead of just allowing the kids to be waited on hand and foot, we're going to teach him a lesson. We'll have him clean it up personally. Also, make sure nobody goes into that that room. I'm going to be honest here. I thought there was going to be maybe somebody on watch to stand outside the door. I remember back in Season 1, I believe this was when they were trying to get rid of the bloody mattress, and I think Victoria had instructed someone, I forgot who it was exactly. I want to say it was a housekeeper. It wasn't Jean or Laura. It was just a random housekeeper, to make sure nobody went inside of the bedroom. And I forgot who went into the room, but I know that Max and Yuma went in there at one time, and the mattress was gone, I believe. And then Victoria's like, what the hell happened? I thought I told you to, not to let anyone in there. But they were like, oh, we had clearance by the president to get in, and that's why they let him in. So, yeah, I was a bit, like, oh, wow, I hope Victoria knows what she's doing here. But in any case, she also asked about Laura, and pretty much, the one who had a heart attack, because the housekeeper said, yeah, Laura was the last one in there. She must not have finished because that's when she had the heart attack. So Victoria's like, oh, wow, okay. What hospital? Okay. St. John's or whatever, which I believe was the same hospital that Max was taken to after, the shooting at the boutique. And Victoria's like, yeah, well, I'll have to send her flowers. And the housekeeper's like, yeah, when my shift's over, I was going to go check on her too. So pretty much, I think you could tell based off of Victoria's reaction that Laura probably saw Jean, hence why she had a heart attack. Now the question is, Lord, are they going to try to take out Laura the same way they were going to take out Max had he still been in the hospital room until Diane took him out? So, Lord have mercy. All right, so we get to the next scene where Victoria goes to the residency and she pretty much asks Hunter to come out, and Hunter's like, yeah, what's going on? And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like Hunter here, because I was like, okay, Victoria keeps saying, go check your son's room, go see what's under your son's bed, as opposed to just telling him. I completely agree. So this escalates further when they get up and go to the room. And it's just hilarious because Hunter's like, what's that smell? Look under the bed. Why don't you just tell me what it is? Hunter, look under the bed. Can't believe the president of the United States getting down like this. And then he looks under, okay, that was hilarious. I love that opening to the episode. And Victoria's like, after he graduated, I saw this coming. I wanted him to get help, but guess what? No, you didn't want him to get help because of your image. And then Hunter's like, whoa, you ain't going to put this all on me. What about you? You didn't want him to get help because, you didn't want people to think he was a creep or anything. So let's be real here. I can speak from experience, and I feel like, I'm not going to assume, but given the size of my platform here on YouTube, and if this video gets shared around in my social media groups as well, I think it's safe to say we all have family members like this where, because, I was born in 91, so there were certain phrases and all that were used then that are not acceptable now. But let's just put it this way. There could be individuals in your family where something is a little off with them, but specific family members don't want to admit to it. So they refuse to get their child or whoever the help that they need. Because, in terms of the Black community, mental health awareness is something that has very recently been brought to the forefront. And, especially with the pandemic last year, which began last year. Side note, I was looking at my Facebook memories for the first time in a while. I honestly just haven't bothered to look at them. But what is it, March 3rd? I was looking at the memories a few minutes before I recorded this video. And several Corona memes and, captions came up like, oh, wow, I wish my student loans caught Corona. That way they would pass on. And then I saw a couple of memes like, oh, when a person sneezes and you look at them. It was just one of those things where we had no idea how that was going to cripple the world outside of a couple weeks, like they said it would be. But mental health, so many ads and, emails about, hey, if you need online counseling and whatnot, because, this shook everybody. But in any case, I've had family members like that where there's clearly something wrong with them. But, my dad or whoever's like, yeah, your aunt, they didn't want to give them help. He's like, no, they're normal. So whatever. But correct me if I'm wrong, but what are these character ages again? I honestly forgot. Like when Victoria said graduating, I'm like, wait, does she mean high school? These kids are clearly not college age because of how they were depicted in the first season. I thought these were mid-teens. I wouldn't even say above the age of 17. So I'm very confused on how old they're supposed to be. Because I know Gail, when they said how old she was, I know people were like, no. Look, Paige Hurd she looks amazing. She does not look old by any means. But a teenager is kind of like, what? Well, then again, if you watch Power Rangers as a kid like I did, it was shocking when it's like, wait, they were like 30-year-olds playing teenagers. Yeah. But in any case, I honestly don't know their ages. I feel like the House of Pain situation, look, I'm not getting into it fully, but if you remember my House of Pain reviews, whenever they would announce character ages, Jasmine is 17 and Malik is 21 or whatever CJ said, and I'm like, how the hell does that make sense? So I'm just going to say whatever. He graduated, maybe he graduated early. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, sometimes people do that, and creeps like that do tend to know a lot. They are smart, so he could have graduated early. I don't know. Look, I don't. I'm sorry to just go on about that statement, but it just had me baffled. But basically, Victoria's like, there was a certain point in Jason's life when I was like, yeah, he needs to get help, but no, we didn't get him the help that he needed. So she saw the murder coming, and Victoria, make sure you pay attention to the fact that Victoria's like, I knew it would come to this, because there were a couple more times in the episode where Victoria's like, Jason. Okay, so this to me was hilarious because of the fact that this really proved that when the situation calls for it, these two can work together, but at the same time, it's never going to go the way that, it should go in an actual team. Victoria comes up with the brilliant idea of, hey, there's a box and, we need to get rid of the body. And it's like, how the hell are we going to do that? And I mean, Hunter is asking all the right questions, because with the Denise situation, Kyle was there in order to help out. And, they are still cleaning up the mess from that. But what I mean is the fact that, what are they supposed to do? This is a legitimate, okay, how the hell am I supposed to get rid of this body? Because of the fact that, most of the people who will be able to do so are either dead, in the hospital, or working on the previous dead body cover-up story. So Victoria comes up with the idea, oh, there's a box. She just pulls it out of Jason's closet. What can we do? What can we do? Okay, we can take this body, put it in the box, call my mom, and she can handle the rest. Brilliant idea, until she finds out what happened to her mom later in the episode. So it's hilarious to me how normal this seemed, because of the fact that, based on Victoria's like, you're going to do it, I'll go wait in the room. It's like a woman, and not to be a sexist here, but it is kind of a common trope that the woman calls a man if there's like a spider. I mean, they were treating Jean's dead body like it was a dead rat under the sink. That's the vibe I got from this entire conversation. And it was good to see the banter between Victoria and Hunter, as opposed to them just getting into a physical fight. This kind of stuff is what I like to see, as opposed to, oh, we got to be edgy with domestic violence. So I really like this scene. I really did. And you can tell I spent almost like 10 plus minutes talking about the opening scene of the damn episode, which shows this was really good. Okay. So then we go over to Donald and Sam. Sam comes in because, Sam is just trying to get answers. I mean, he's the head of the Secret Service security, and yet two of his top agents were almost killed. Well, one killed, and then the other one is hanging on to his life. And he's like, why didn't I hear about this? But basically, the first thing he talks about is Donald asking about the emergency from earlier in the day. And of course, that was in relation to Laura and the heart attack. And, he shows concern over Max and Yuma. And he's like, sir, I don't buy that cover story in regards to the shootout over a woman. And Donald's like, whoa, are you saying that, this is something shady going on? Like, if anything, you need to do a better job of keeping hold of your agents, knowing what's going on, because, this is trying to save your job. So, he's like, oh, wow, so you sent Max to go move him? I don't think that's a good idea, because Kyle is one of the people who antagonizes Max, so I'll go take care of it. And he's like, oh, well, don't worry about it. It's being handled or whatever. And he's like, well, I'll go see Max at the hospital. It's like, no, now that you ain't going to do. No, we ain't going to do that. So essentially he just leaves the office, and then from there calls Priscilla and says, hey, Priscilla, there are a couple stops I need to make before I get home, and then I'll explain everything to you later. I'll talk to you soon. So we know that in the last episode, I think he told Kyle that he would go to talk to the wives of Yuma and Max just to let them know the situation. So from there, he gets the information about the plane, Maud's plane, having to do an emergency landing, but we will get to that in just a second. We take a brief detour where Barry has gotten out of jail thanks to Sharon using the bail money that was in the bedroom. Nothing much to say about this scene. It was really brief. Simply put, Sharon's concerned about the whole situation with Ruve, whether or not, any information on Callie was brought up. That wasn't the case. And then they kind of go back and forth briefly about the money, where they're arguing about whose money is it? It isn't mine. Are you selling drugs? Why would you even say that? I ain't gonna lie. I like the acting in the scene. Sharon looked cute when her eyes got a little watery eyed. I felt bad for her, but it was just cute. So then we go over to, and apparently there was over $100,000, which is kind of odd. Look, In Ruthless, I mean, maybe Ruth could have been lying. She said 100,000, but it could be more. Kind of like when Warlock was lied to by Candace, saying that I got 400K when it was really like $7.4 million. So essentially, what we can do from here is look at the fact that maybe Ruth told Tally it was 100,000, but it was probably more than 100,000. I'm not going to be a stickler on it too much because of the fact that I already did the video. What was it, on Monday or Sunday? It was where the bail for Barry in season 1 was $5,000. Barry claimed the money, so the $5,000 was used to get him out, and then the money was given back to him. So I mean, it could have been more. I don't know. Who cares? Whatever. Then we get to the next scene. We go back to the White House. You know, I think in the previous scene, Hunter and Victoria were in. He was like, look, I can't do this. I need to get a drink first. So basically, they're sitting right outside of the residency rooms out in the hallway. And then Sam approaches them to say, hey, your mother's private plane had to make an emergency landing in Texas. Your mother is deceased. She had a heart attack on the plane. Apparently, you know, there was some kind of mechanical issue and the proper departments are looking into it right now. There are no Secret Service with the kids because I think Hunter asked about that, and, you know, the kids are okay. But basically, he was like, well, you know how your mother does things. So basically, that's why there was no Secret Service. I know some people were really like, okay, what happened on that plane made no sense because there should have been Secret Service and whatnot. But I understand that. But given the fact that, once again, this is Tyler Perry writing, the 5 families that run the country, I think they would have the power to circumvent or, you know, exceed any kind of White House protocol, as opposed to, you know, oh, well, no matter what kind of family you come from, Secret Service is to accompany the kids everywhere. So basically, it's like the local police that have, quote unquote, custody of Gail and Jason right now. And there is a plane going to Texas with agents on there to retrieve the children and take them back. So they'll be back by the next morning, I believe. So Victoria's like, hey, I'll go call my father. And Sam was following up on the housekeeping things like, hey, excuse me, Mr. President, you need me to help take care of the situation in your son's room because of the smell? And it's like, no, we'll make sure the children don't have to get used to being waiting on hand and foot. We'll have him take care of it himself. And the Sam's like, okay. So we move on to the next scene. And briefly, hang on. Let me look at my notes. Okay, I can save that. All right. So this was a very well acted scene here where we go to the cabin, Bobby's cabin. Lily's just soaking in the quietness of the wilderness. And yeah, sometimes it's easy to forget, like, you know, when you're in the big city, you're a fashion designer, you're always traveling. Sometimes the simpler things in life are great, you know, to see the stars in a clear sky as opposed to, you know, big city where lights are on 24/7. Well, if it isn't lights in nighttime, it's the sun in the daytime. But she pretty much, you know, talks with Bobby, and Bobby's like, yeah, I had a cabin for a long time. So how many other people have you brought up here? Men. Oh, not like that though, but, you know, just know there's a lot about me that you don't want to know. I don't want to tell you because I'm a bad person to the wrong people, so to speak. And Diane pulls up and they go inside because she's like, I'm not going to talk in front of her. She's the wife of the chief, or whatever the hell Donald's title, chief of staff, right? That's Donald's title. But basically, Lily's like, he tried to kill me. What? Let's go inside. So they all go inside, and Max is sedated, but he's sedated just enough to not be fully conscious. But at the same time, he is able to hear and respond to basic, you know, request commands. So turns out, Diane and Bobby had sex a few times, but she grew uninterested, and that's about it. You're the jealous type, aren't you? No, just curious. So Bobby takes the gun and pretty much talks with Max because Diane's like, we need somebody on the inside. It's like, no, we don't. We got him right here. He tries to reassure him like, look, nobody's here to hurt you. We moved you from the hospital, so you're safe. And Diane helps him get up, and then Max puts her in a chokehold. And Bobby de-escalates the situation. I think Lily holds up a phone, but the text message pretty much confirming that, hey, we are on your side. Your wife, she's in Indiana with her sister. Because I think Diane said, yeah, I still have White House clearance, so I made sure to contact her to, tell her to go out of state. So pretty much Max and his wife and daughter. So Max's family is safe, and he lets go of Diane, and pretty much is like, look, let's get you some food. We can sit down and talk. I like the scene. I know some people would be like, honestly, I think a lot of people now, well, honestly, I feel like I was in a minority whenever I talk with fans now. Most people are like, you didn't like the Lily stuff during the beginning of season 1? No, I didn't. It really didn't ramp up until Lily started being a badass, where she like told off Jason and Victoria. But basically, this was a very well acted scene by everyone involved. Lily being like, okay, I did not sign up for this. Bobby with his experience in trying to de-escalate the situation and, rally the troops for a, attack on the White House, so to speak. Diane, because she knows pretty much, like Bobby experience and whatnot. But like it was said later in the episode, Diane's smart, but not that smart. Hence why Bobby is essential. I think Bobby even said, you're safe so long as I'm alive. And then Max, obviously makes sense. I mean, the last time he was fully conscious was when he was betrayed. He saw his partner Yuma get killed, and then attacked by Kyle. Then he's in and out of consciousness in the hospital after being shot multiple times. So, and then he's moved from the hospital. So yeah, he has every reason to be on the edge right now, because he when he grabbed Diane, he's like, look, I'm going to get out of here. And then Bob's like, look, you have no way out of here. Where are you going to go? You ain't going to go anywhere. So what really made this scene for me is when everything kind of calmed down. Bobby had the gun put away and then sits Max at the table. And Lily's like, I'll go fix something. I don't know why, but that just made me laugh so hard. I think it was like the timing of it, because we just came off of a tense scene. Diane is trying to catch her breath. And then out of all that, Lily's like, okay, I'll fix something. It was good. All right, so then we go back to the White House, and I think this is probably one of my favorite Hunter Victoria episodes. So Hunter is literally being genuine, trying to, as best he can, so to speak, comfort Victoria to see if she's okay. And this is one of those things where, yeah, the episode kind of, I wish we would have gotten the conversation between Victoria and her father. We don't get that. We basically just have Victoria sitting by the phone, kind of implying that she did call her father. But Victoria doesn't care about, Maud dying. She's like, hell, if only my dad was next. And Hunter's like, wow, okay. Because I think Victoria said, I think we need to come out with a statement. And Hunter's like, fine, yeah, I'll go talk with the press secretary right now. And then Hunter, really? Right now? You're going to do this right now? And why you want all these women? Why not? And I mean, to be honest, again, I really love the fact that we get some good banter between the two, as opposed to them just throwing things and breaking things. But I think, and no, look, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we're in a Jim Cryer, Catherine Cryer situation where, despite the banter and the snide remarks and the, oh, I don't care what happens to you or what you do, they really love each other. I honestly, well, in a way, I would say there's more feelings on Victoria's side than Hunter, but that will be a separate. Maybe I'll do a video on that. I feel like I did back in season 1, but I might revisit it. So essentially, there's a phone that goes off. At first, I thought this was Victoria's father, but no, it's actually Jason. Pretty much saying, hey, we're in Texas right now. With the police department and whatnot, and some unidentified men without badges or anything just came up to us as soon as the plane landed, and they took Gail, and they said they worked for Grandma. And Victoria's like, don't worry, I know who they are, I know where they're taking Gail, don't worry about it. And then Jason's like, what's going on? I need to know. It's like, no, is there anything you need to tell us, son? No, there isn't. Well, fine, don't worry. There's going to be a flight coming out to you, and you'll be back at the White House by tomorrow morning. Oh, yeah, she was like, is there anything in your room? Yeah, just some dirty clothes. I'll take care of it. It's like, fine, okay. So also look at how before the phone went off, Victoria wasn't mourning Maud, but she was just trying to put the pieces together, because a heart attack just seemed like a lame story. Remember how easily she sniffed out, no pun intended, in Jason's room, that the cover story of a shootout between lovers, Max and Yuma, it didn't happen. That was just stupid. she doesn't buy, even though she doesn't like her mom, the fact that she had a heart attack. That does not make sense. I mean, Jason's like, yeah, something went wrong with the emergency equipment and like the emergency hatch just flew off and then she grabbed her chest and that was it. No. Again, what the hell? The flight attendant, Jason, was asking all these damn questions about the emergency hatch. Wouldn't somebody bring that up? Oh, well, maybe, because that was another issue with the episode, aside from like, Victoria and her father, that conversation not being on screen. I thought we would have at least gotten some sort of scene in the plane, like the plane descending, seeing what had happened after, Jason opened the emergency hatch, or perhaps even them touching ground and Gail being taken away and then Maude being taken away on a stretcher. We didn't get any of that. And those elements really would have made this episode a little bit better. Again, this was a good episode, but I do feel like this episode, and I hate to make the comparison, but they did a few scenes wrong in this episode. They pulled an assisted living where we are told rather than shown specific events. Just saying. All right, so after that, we go over to Barry and Sharon to get home, and, Barry gets his key, but he's not able to open the door. It turns out Richard done changed the damn locks, and he's actually standing up ironing his uniform because in the morning he's going back to the White House, and, Sharon is showing concern, and, Richard kind of snaps on her a little bit until Barry's like, whoa, wait, what's going on here? And pretty much, he apologizes to Barry for the man he's about to see his father become. And Barry tries to de-escalate the situation where where's mom right now? It's like, well, don't worry about it. I don't know. And he pretty much brings up the whole situation about seeing Ruth because like, why are you worried about me and your mother when you need to be getting my grandbaby back? And I'm thinking, well, Richard, your wife is kind of the reason that Ruth was taken. I mean, Callie was taken anyway. But in any case, he brings up the fact that, hey, I saw Ruth. I got arrested because I took her to the police station and she pressed charges. But don't worry, I'm out of jail right now. We'll deal with that later. But at the moment, where's mom? What are we going to do? Don't worry about your mother. And apparently the police were all like, in order for Barry to get custody of Callie, he needs to take Ruth to court. I thought there was already a restraining order and Barry already had custody. Look, thank the Lord I don't have children to have to worry about this kind of thing, but something just don't seem right. Look, I know that some of the police are Rakadushi affiliated, but yeah, that doesn't sound right. And Barry was like, yeah, now how am I going to find the money to, fight this custody battle? Look, I don't know how much those things cost, but the way Sharon was talking, it was more than $100K in that damn drawer. So I don't know. But yeah, Richard's like, don't worry, your Uncle Sam's going to help you out. Did he say Uncle Sam? And I'm like, wait, what? I guess uncle implies more like, not your real uncle, but well, I thought Sam was his godfather. You know what? No, I'm not going to do this. This is like when Victoria said graduated, for Jason. I'm just going to say Uncle Sam. I don't know. I mean, because he said uncle, so I'm like, is it Richard's brother, the one that Nancy may have slept with and had picky with? But no, I'm just going to say it's Sam and leave it at that because it could have been just said godfather, whatever. But Sam is probably going to help. Then we get to Priscilla. She's calling somebody multiple times and no answers. And then she does it again. It's like, Gene, call me. Let me know what's going on. So she ends up calling the White House, and Alonzo's there, one of the employees who works with Secret Service and whatnot. Or security, whichever term you would prefer. And he did some research and found that, okay, we have Jean going up to the residency earlier the day. She never checked out. And the president didn't want any cameras in the residency, which explains why they did shut them off. I thought that was a temporary thing, when Denise was brought in, not something that he permanently had removed. But okay, so we got Laura after she had her heart attack and she got brought down, but there's no footage of Jean coming down. So what's going on here? So Priscilla is really concerned about what's going on. And from there we have, because yeah, Jean calls her all the time. All right, we're almost done, folks. So we go over to Donald's place and he gets a phone call from Kyle. Kyle's coming in. It's like, okay, I have no clue about the whole Max situation. Diane took him, I don't know where, and we tried to follow her. Her vehicle was left randomly at like a gas station because remember, Bobby gave her specific instructions because she was being tracked. From there, Kyle is actually worried, and I'm like, this is something we usually don't see from Kyle. Donald is kind of in the driver's seat, mainly because he has the keys in a situation. But he's like, we need to kill Diane ASAP, just have her dead. Because it's funny, because in the last episode, it's like, hey, take care of Max, but I want Diane brought to me alive. But given the circumstances, it's like, kill that bitch. So from there, she does. I know that Kyle's like, well, did you hear about the Fotis's mother-in-law? I don't give a damn about that. It was like, oh, okay. So Kyle's like, well, since your wife isn't coming home, have you heard from her? Nope. Since she isn't coming home, can I have my key back? And basically Donald's like, get down on your knees and work for you. And honestly, that's all I got to say there. So honestly, like the way Donald's being portrayed this season. I know some people don't like it. I don't mind. I think it's a good change of pace. It's just very interesting to see the dynamic of the characters, because a lot of them are in very high stress situations. So they're not always going to be as joke or carefree as usual, because again, Kyle is literally shaken up as opposed to just being creepy, acting like, he has everything under control, when no, shit's hitting the fan. So we get to Ellie coming home to her place with Alan, and it looked like he had been drinking a little bit, but basically, instead of anything romantic going on, she's just exhausted and she wants to go to bed. Well, to be fair, she did have one hell of a day when you usurp your boss for her position, and you've dealt with a lot of slander because she put out a lot of dirty laundry, including your panties. And then you got chewed out by the first lady, you got chewed out by Donald, and you didn't have a lot of time to be chewed out by the president. So she goes to the room, and there's a ring on the bed, and he's proposing, and she says, I can't right now. No, I can't. Which is strange, because Alan does say, well, wait a minute. A couple of weeks ago, you would have said yes. You were like, yeah, you're ready to get married. But all of a sudden you're saying no. And he confronts her about whether or not this has anything to do with the president, and she kind of denies it. So he doesn't I don't believe he full on struck her, but he got a little bit rough with her. And then he's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. And then she's like, don't touch me. Don't touch me. So she leaves. Then we finally get to the final scene of the episode. I gotta admit, Tyler Perry's been doing it with the cliffhangers. I do like this one better than last week, because like I said, last week they just really crammed in the situation involving Jason hitting the emergency hatch, as well as Victoria finding the body. Those things just felt way shoehorned in. In this case, this flowed very naturally, because hell, I didn't even think we'd get to this scene. But basically Victoria is tossing clothes out of Jason's clothes box, and I think Hunter was like, yeah, we're going to wrap up the body and put it in there. So as she's yanking the clothes out, she's like, Hunter, look at this. Like, what is it? She's holding the missing sword from the bedroom. That little bastard. And that was the end of the episode. Guys, I will be doing a full video on the sword. Trust me, there's so much to say, but it is so annoying. But yeah, this was a good episode. Honestly, this was probably my longest episode review thus far about The Oval Season 2. I just felt like there were some missing elements, like Victoria calling her father, seeing scenes of Gale being taken away, the plane touching down. It definitely felt like an episode where it was lacking in some places, but overall, I wouldn't say that, I don't think there was any particular scene that I felt overstayed its welcome. I mean, you could argue that the cabin scene was a bit lengthier than it needed to be, but I did like the scene because it really showed the high tense situation that these four individuals are dealing with. I mean, one wrong move, one slip up, and they're dead. They need Bobby. He's the team leader. So I guess you could say if they reduced that scene, then it's possible we could have gotten more scenes with, again, Victoria calling her father and things like that. But I honestly like this episode for what it was. But 7.5 out of 10. Not every episode is going to be an 8, 9, or 10, because this is a 22 episode season. I wouldn't even call this episode filler. And that's really all I got to say, because I know I probably held you all long enough. But let me know your thoughts on the episode in the comment section below. It was titled Wicked Things. I don't ever think the term Wicked Things was utilized in the episode, but oh well, whatever. So leave your thoughts below. Do you agree with my score? Were there certain things in the episode that, despite being a lengthy review, I might have missed out on? And yeah, like I said, I'll do a full sword video later on. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't really think this episode has like a bunch of videos for me to do discussion topics on. Like I'll do my trailer breakdown as always. And now that I think about it, I don't really think there's a lot for me to really follow up on. I'll talk about the sword. And in that video, I'll encompass, whether or not Jason was the one that killed Denise. And I think Hunter even briefly mentioned, like, with your mother dead, that's going to open up a lot of problems in Victoria's. Like, I know. And it's like I said, a power vacuum. Maud was one of the top 5 family members. So with Maud out of the way, there could be something worse coming down the pipeline. Really no need to talk about Barry and Sharon. We know Richard is allegedly going back to work the next day. Donald, Sam, Sam's going to do research. Donald's just messing around with Kyle to get rid of Diane. Priscilla's trying to figure out what's going on with Jean. I mean, I already did a video about the upcoming, episode 6, the synopsis that reveals that Jason is going to catch Priscilla snooping around her room. Yeah, I might do some videos here or there. I don't think I'll be dumping like 35 videos over the next couple of days like I did this week. So there we go. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. And if you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal, Cash App, or join Patreon for as little as $1 a month.